Hello everybody, welcome back to another banging episode of Talking That Nonsense with your host, me, Michael. It looks like we're on our 64th installment of Talking That Nonsense, never in my wildest dreams, people. Today, we are going to be doing some Reddit readings, and I know how much you guys love these Reddit readings, so I decided to just bring it back, totally not because I was kind of, dead on ideas at the moment. Today we're going to be going to one of my favorite subreddits known to man. That would be, let's see, give me a moment. That would be r/neckbeard stories. These are some of the top posts of all time, so bear with me on this. This story was uploaded 6 years ago by user Third Wheel Beard House. Let us begin. I live with a feminist and a neckbeard. Hello Reddit. Recently stumbled on the sub after spending an embarrassing amount of time laughing and cringing. I could not tell you. That's how it's couldn't not tell you. Could not tell you. It's funny. I couldn't. Okay, stop. I couldn't not tell you all about the gold mine that has been my living situation for the past 6 months. Warning, on phone, can't format. Made this account because my beard roommate knows my main, and it has some personal stuff tied to it. I'm a 23-year-old dude trying to figure out what the heck he wants to do with his life. Who got lucky enough to score this awesome place. Great location, great rent price, great building. Apparently what happened was a pipe burst, and the tenants had an emergency move whilst it was being fixed. Apparently, 2 out of the 3 previous ones found other places, and one, the feminist, had paid rent away in advance, but was backpacking when it was ready, so she left the landlord to choose who moved in. I just got lucky. Landlord owed Neckbeard's parents a favor. She's 24. He's 27. A small list of incidents so far. My first day of moving in and meeting him, Beardo was apparently... My first day of moving in and meeting him, Beardo attempts to bond over furry porn because of my werewolf apocalypse books. It's not nearly the same thing. Feminist is a vegan. Beardo spiked her food and she got sick for a day. Beardo attempted the silent treatment over Fem bringing male friends over. When that didn't work, he threw a tantrum. Always effective. Fem was an ironworker apprentice, then a plumber apprentice, and now she's going to go into nursing school. Beardo attempted to educate her on why women shouldn't work. She deliberately blew the fuse in the apartment so Beardo, and me to be honest, couldn't game and made him apologize. He didn't know about circuit breakers. Beardo's idea seemed to be between incel and red pill crap. Too intense chivalrous milady bull in some intense chivalrous milady bull crap. I never know what I'm going to hear about how Fem is going to be approached that day. Fem made me show Beardo how to do laundry. Because you're another effing man and he's effing reeks. And do you know what that effer is going to listen to another woman? He's not. Or do you know when that effer is going to listen to another woman? It took an hour and it was awful. He doesn't use detergent when he does it. I tried. He attempts to bond with me. I'm also rather nerdy, but it usually comes back to why women don't like him and female dogs and chivalry and all I can do is smile and nod. He wouldn't take any advice. He was just too much of a nice guy. Sad because I've seen he could be a cool dude if he just straightened up. Which seems to be the case for some people I know. They could be really good people if they just straightened up. But their desire to smell like broccoli, insulin, and expired tomato sauce is strong with this one. If I bring a girl over, any girl, my friend or otherwise, he insults the crap out of me and tries to be smooth with her, and it's just creepy. He also asks for their numbers, if he can have them when I'm done. For sexual details, just no. That's disgusting. He attempted to set a moral code in the apartment over Femme drinking and bringing her friends over and walking around in short shorts. It's fine for us to do it. It's fine for us to drink and walk around in just boxers, though. Femme told him where to go. He tried to host an intervention over Femme drinking on the weekends. This included somehow getting her parents' info and calling her dad. Her dad is ex-military and liberal, and it ended with her dad coming over and screaming for 2 hours at Beardo. Then Femme came home, surprised to see her dad, learn what Beardo did, and they both proceeded to scream at him for at least another 20 minutes. At which point I had to go to work. Femme is bad at doing dishes and cleaning in general. Fortunately, I'm pretty slack and bad to them too. But Beardo just took it upon himself to nag Femme after leaving some bowls in a pot over the weekend. Femme barged into his room, snapped a bunch of pictures of the filth, and threatened to send them to his landlord and his mother. He apologized until he apologized. Femme sent them away to his mother. Yes, Femme sent them away, and his mother was over yelling and making him clean. I stayed over at a friend's house overnight. To be honest, I'm genuinely uncertain if he likes Femme or hates her. Or is it because she's a female, he feels a need to be something to her? Question mark. She is definitely not your usual beard bait. She's cute, but she's loud, tall, and has a really intense personality. I'm still confused. I'm still confused by it. Femme is too. She's the one that half-jokingly said, like, I'm the kid caught between two parents trying for me. Well, that's a quick summary. I have more to write, but my thumbs are getting numb. Hopefully it was entertaining. If you like it, I'll be sure to write more and more about these moments. That was wild. That was a wild one. I honestly don't know how to feel about that. Usually I would have some witty remark to say, but I don't. So that's what happens when you have a feminist and you have a neckbeard living together. I'm not on the side of the feminist. Neither am I really on the side of the neckbeard. I'm kind of not even on the side of the OP. But he really didn't do nothing wrong. He's just kind of just there. But ultimately, he was in a pretty tight situation. I bet it was an absolute gold mine, like he described it. So, who am I to sit here and complain? Me? Complain? Get real. I would never. Alright. we have... Ooh, is this the Wolfbeard Saga? This is the freaking Wolfbeard Saga. Alright. This is the last one that we're going to read for today. This is on r/neckbeard stories by user Madame Macabre. I don't know if I said that right. Macabre. Madame Macabre. Anyway, this was posted 5 years ago. This is the Wolfbeard Saga. Enter the Saga. Hi there. Also, this is going to be a long one. So like I said, it's probably going to be the last one. Video might span over 35 minutes, but that's why I'm probably going to, next episode, I might do the next parts. But anyway, hi there. I'm new to Reddit, and I haven't really shared much yet. But after stumbling across this subreddit, I realized I might actually have something worth sharing here. I apologize in advance for the length of this, but let's just say a lot has happened. Several years ago, I lived through a series of horrifying and hilarious events with a beard and in the wild. At the time, everything I was put through was rather overwhelming and even scary at times. But now I can look back on it and laugh. I hope you get a chuckle out of it too. Without further ado, I give you the first tale of Wolfbeard. I'll call him as such because his unhealthy obsession with wolves. Ugh. He's one of those guys that collected just about everything with artwork of wolves on it. Shirts, blankets, tapestries, you name it. His obsession went beyond that even. But let's not get ahead of ourselves in this story just yet. I met Wolfbeard in my freshman year of university. At the time, he was engaged to my now ex childhood friend. My friend and I have taken what? Yeah, my friends and I have taken to calling her Miss Piggy these days, so we'll use that name for this backstory. Miss Piggy was your classic legbeard, morbidly obese, lacking proper social boundaries, and extreme weeaboo extraordinaire. What ultimately ended our friendship with Miss Piggy was something downright vile and crazy stuff she did to a mutual friend of ours. But when I found out, I finally had enough and cut ties with her. But really, that warrants a story of her own. Needless to say, while all the shenanigans with Wolfbeard went down, she and I were still friends. Despite this, though, we had actually grown a bit distant at this time. When I was much younger, I lived in the same town as Miss Piggy. She wasn't always a full-blown leg beard. Maybe it was the nostalgia glasses kicking in. But in my younger childhood years, I remember her being around the same build as me, slender and on the taller side. Despite still being a little socially awkward, who wasn't in their childhood years, right? A super sweet and funny girl. We had been best friends since kindergarten. However, when the time came for us to attend middle school, my family moved away to a new town, and it was only about half an hour away. But for a child, that was too long of a drive. It might as well have been states away because of this. We naturally started to drift apart. That's sad. We only saw each other rarely, and our interests and lives changed. However, once we finished up at primary school and off to university, with a license and car of my own, I decided to change this. With a vehicle, the 30-minute distance was nothing. So I began reaching out to her, attempting to rekindle our old friendship. In doing so, I ended up meeting Wolfbeard. At the time, Miss Piggy and Wolfbeard were living together in a tiny one-bedroom apartment. Interestingly enough, both their parents had been against the idea, as they didn't believe one and each other were ready for that kind of responsibility, and they were, of course, correct. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. The apartment was one of those sketchy complexes you don't want to get caught in after dark. The place was a dump. The air was constantly filled with Goo. Unsupervised, let's just say, stinky stuff. And unsupervised children terrorizing the neighborhood. And the white trash couples screaming at each other and slamming furniture around. I almost turned around on the spot before making it to Miss Piggy's apartment. But I had been that one to make plans to meet up, so I straightened my resolve and I knocked on the scuffed and dented door. Should I also mention that she had not told me about Wolfbeard before, let alone that they were living together, so I almost backpedaled on the spot when a tall, greasy-haired man opened the door instead of my friend. Oh, God. Whew. Wolfbeard was a big man, and I mean that in every sense of the word. He was very tall, easily around 6'1", 6'2", as well as morbidly obese. He nearly filled the entire doorframe, blocking the apartment within from view. He had dirty blonde hair, and although he lacked the true neckbeard, he had a very poorly trimmed splotch of scruff on his chin that made him appear as though Shaggy from Scooby-Doo had really let himself go. He wore an oversized t-shirt with a print of two wolves howling at the moon, and one of those flat golf caps atop his clearly unwashed hair. But what of the most off-putting about his imposing figure was his smell. He clapped his lips. Oh my God. Oh no, I mean his chapped lips pulled into a smile revealing plaque-encrusted teeth, and a wave of horrific odors blasted my face. Vomit-inducing as this was, it didn't even hold a candle to his body odor. In all time of me knowing Wolfbeard, I did not think he would once grasp the concept of deodorant. You could always smell him coming before you see him. And with someone his size, that's really saying something. But before I could scuttle away, Miss Piggy waddled up and pushed Wolfbeard out the way and said, her way, so she could greet me. I don't know if I should do a voice for Miss Piggy, but I got it. This could be annoying. So, pushed Wolfbeard out the way so she could greet me. This is going to be terrible. I'm probably going to end up changing the voice anyway, but anyway.
Oh, sorry about that. I forgot to mention it to you. This is Wolfbeard, my fiancé,
She squealed in delight, forcing a pudgy hand in my face to show off one of those etched rune-looking rings you can find at Spencer's or Hot Topic. A little overwhelmed and caught off guard, I congratulated her before entering the apartment. When I got inside, I had to stop myself from almost retching again. You see, Miss Piggy had always been a bit of a hoarder, ever since we were children, but time had certainly not helped that habit. And that's worse. And what's worse, Wolfbeard was a lazy slob who had previously relied on his mother cleaning up after him, so his mess just compounded the problem. This whole place smelled vaguely of garbage. This whole place vaguely smelled of garbage and cat piss. The living room was made up of a couch, coffee table, massive television that Wolfbeard had brought from his parents' house. Both the couch and coffee table were piled with clothes, garbage, and who knows what else. 1 second, I just lost my spot. Okay, yeah. And just see, I think I found it. And who knows what else. You could really feel the impact of the clutter and unit. As the unit truly was tiny. In its entirety, the unit was a bit laid out in a linear line, one room connected to the next in consideration of the front room. It consisted of the front living room, then moved into the kitchen, then the dining space. The kitchen was pretty narrow and seemed even worse than it really was, as the mountain of unwashed dishes coated in rotten food took up what little counter space there was, and the crammed opposite side of this was the table, was functionally useless due to the amount of crap piled atop. Continuing our glum tour, we had a piece de resistance, the single bedroom and connected bathroom Based on the description of the rest of the unit, I'll let you use your imagination as the state of this tiny, overstuffed room, and the smell from which emanated. Needless to say, the apartment was disgusting. And if only my general feeling of uneasiness during this visit, only added to my general feeling of uneasiness during this visit. From the very beginning, Wolfbeard made me incredibly uncomfortable. Despite supposedly being engaged to Piggy, from the moment I entered the apartment, he was eyeing me like a piece of meat. For this thrilling saga, I will refer to myself as Calamity, my usual D&D moniker, appropriate given this whole experience felt more like a wildly crafted fantasy than reality. While I'm by no means some sort of supermodel, I do put a little bit of effort into my appearance. I'm rather busty despite being slender and quite tall, a little over 5'8". My friends often make Amazon warrior jokes at me. I just threaten to crush those skulls like sparrow eggs. I also love all things horror and occult, so naturally I'm into witchy alternative style, and I love to dress in dark makeup and clothing. Oftentimes this pits off or spooks away any potential creeps, which is great. But in Wolfbeard's case, it made me appear as some sort of tantalizing mystery he desperately wanted to unravel. That's terrible. An old-fashioned gothic type of gentleman. He delusionally financed himself as an old-fashioned gothic type gentleman, and the dark milady before him all but begged for her gallant protector such as himself. Anyways, after bulldozing some crap off the couch, Wolfbird made a sweeping motion to gesture Miss Piggy and I to take a seat. Upon reluctantly doing so, I almost died there. Reluctantly doing so, I was dismayed to find Wolfbird planting himself on the ground next to me, rather than his fiancée. Leaning back on the couch uncomfortably, close to me, despite the discomfort and his looming presence. Eventually, my nose went blind to the lingering cloud of stench, and I was able to enjoy catching up with Miss Piggy, despite having become more awkward and overly interesting in anime. She still seemed to be much of the same person all these years, and chatting was fun. It was odd though, as every so often Miss Piggy and Wolfbeard would have this strange little exchange. Wolfbeard would frown and grasp his chest dramatically for a moment and briefly clench his head in his hands before shooting a dire look at Miss Piggy. In turn, she pasted a worried expression on her face and extended a gentle hand as if she I didn't know what was going on. I assumed there was some type of weird couples thing going on, or a couples thing between them, so I tried my best to ignore it. That is until right around nightfall. I noticed the sky begin to darken. Wolfbeard dramatically stood up and waddled his way to the window. Once again, he dramatically grasped his chest and violently whipped his head away. At this, Miss Piggy shot up from the couch and bounded over to him, clenching onto him like a pose from an old romance novel. Confused, I watched the scene begin to unfold before me. Miss Piggy.
Are you going to be all right, my love?
Miss Piggy softly cooed, looking over her shoulder out into the night air beyond the window. Wolfbeard. It's a full moon tonight. Wolfbeard hoarsely croaked in response, dramatically turning away from her. Miss Piggy.
You can control it. I know you can.
Miss Piggy wobbled and clenched him tighter still. Wolfbeard.
I should go, just to be safe.
Wolfbeard softly whispered back. Wolfbeard whispered back. As he strode through the apartment in almost a slow-motion fashion, I imagine he thought he looked cool or epic or something. But in reality, he looked like some type of wounded animal hauling himself back into its den to die. Upon reaching the door, he paused in the frame, looked out at me sadly, then with a sigh, closed the door behind him. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, what the heck is going on here? And then Miss Piggy came up to me with some dire serious look on her face. Calamity.
Calamity, I need to tell you a secret. Do you promise not to tell anyone? Wolfbeard's life could be in danger, and if you spread this around, so please take it serious.
I paused, not sure what horrors could possibly be awaiting me that evening, but curiosity got the best of me, and I hesitantly agreed.
Wolfbeard is a lichen.
I sat there positively bamboozled, blinking furiously at my brain. Blinking furiously as my brain tried to process the sheer stupidity that this grown-butt woman had just thrown my way. Mistaking this for me not understanding, she continued,
A lichen is what most people would call a werewolf.
So you're telling me that Wolfbeard is a werewolf? I repeated slowly, in one last-ditch effort to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding some sort of joke or prank they were pulling on me.
Yes,
Miss Piggy whispered, no hint of humor on her face.
Usually he can restrain himself pretty well, but tonight is a full moon, so he's afraid he could lose control since he has to transform.
It took me every ounce of self-restraint in my body not to burst out laughing on the spot. I could tell at the time, and still don't know to this day, if it was some weird socially awkward game those two had played together, or she genuinely believed him. But either way, what ensued was positively wild. Miss Piggy proceeded to tell me the tale of how she had learned Wolfbeard's so dark secret in high school, and how they'd fallen in love because she had learned to tame the beast in his heart. Mind you, all while this is going on, Wolfbeard had started making these ridiculous growling noises and knocking things around in the closed-off bedroom. A few minutes of this, I could hear the sound of a window sliding and a resounding thud. And this, Miss Piggy beside me, alongside her to investigate. I should clarify, they lived on the ground floor. The bedroom had one large window that lacked a screen and opened directly into the parking lot. Old and behold, when Miss Piggy and I arrived at the bedroom, the window was open and there was no sign of the dashing lycanthropic gentle sir. At this point, I reached my quota for how much bullcrap I can handle in one evening, so I used the excuse of needing to go back to my dorm for the school the following day to take my leave. The following day to take my leave. I told Miss Piggy how nice it was to catch up and how her and Wolfbeard's secret was safe with me, and quickly gathered my things. However, as I neared the front door before I could reach it, it burst open. Standing in the doorway was Wolfbeard, once more now panting wildly and dripping with sweat, as if, oh my God, if I thought he smelled bad before, he was now positively noxious. He also had what looked like some dirt rubbed across his forearms, as if it was meant to convince that he had been terrorizing the countryside in the 5 minutes he'd been out of the apartment. Feeding into his delusion, Miss Piggy ran into his arms and cuddled him. That's a weird way to spell cuddle, but cuddled him. like he had just escaped a harrowing experience. She asked him if his transformation was painful. He just pathetically nodded in response, turning to me with what I imagined he thought was collected coolness. He ran his hand through his sweat-soaked hair and addressed me. Oof. I hope I didn't scare you, Calamity. I know I get a little primal in these moon phases. Calamity. Oh no, Miss Piggy told me that you know how to control yourself. I responded, knowing dang well it wasn't good to play into their game, but honestly, not knowing how else to end this situation. Well, it was great meeting you, but I got class. It was great meeting you, but I got classes in the morning, so I'm gonna take off. I quickly spouted before he had a chance to start up some new element of the game. He held out his even. No, oh, cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. He held out his sweaty, stinky, dirt-encrusted arms as if he expected me to hug him. This was quite possibly nothing else on the earth that I wanted to do less than hug him, to be honest. So I quickly dodged him and but blamed on not wanting to get dirt on my arms and to get on my clothes. Yeah, I quickly dodged him and blamed him on not wanting the dirt on his arms to get on my clothes. He responded with his response was to literally throw his shoulders down and pout, and like an overgrown toddler. With that's just ooh, wait a minute. His response was to literally throw his shoulders down, pout like an overgrown toddler, and with 100% serious and no irony, said, "Sad panda." It seemed like it became a passionate mission of Wolfbeard to try and get closer and closer to me, to touch me as much as he physically could any time I was near him or whenever I encountered him. Believe it or not, this evening wasn't the worst of the encounters with him. Oh no, despite being engaged, Wolfbeard could soon decide that he wanted me. Wolfbird would soon decide that he wanted me more than just wanted to be more than just friends with yours truly. But that's another story to come. Oh my god. We did it. Oh, we did it. If you could understand all that. Basically, there are these two friends that used to be friends, and just recently, after drifting apart after like primary school or whatever, they recently tried to rekindle their old friendship. And she's a morbidly obese leg beard, and she has this morbidly obese, greasy, smelly neckbeard fiance, quote unquote. This is just part one of their story. I got part two on standby for next episode. So I've actually listened to this story like 5 times on YouTube for like the past like couple of years, actually. For like the 5 years it's been out. I've listened to like Reddit and like Hell Freezer and like Vinci, those people. I've listened to like Reddit do it like 5 times because I just like Reddit readings. But it is what it is. Honestly, out of all the neckbeard stories we're probably gonna read soon, I'd say this is probably the weirdest one. I find it quite odd. That's all. But nevertheless, I don't expect nothing less from these. No, nothing less from these neckbeard stories. Nothing less at all. Nothing less. But if you guys want the next part to this Wolfbeard saga, then please let me know in the comments below, or let me know on Snapchat, or however way you would like to reach out to me. Because I don't know about you, I kind of had fun reading that for the most part. I don't have any complaints. I tried to read as slow as possible. At times I did fumble over words and replace them, so what I said was kind of awkward at times. But nevertheless, I didn't alter too much things in the story. It was just words that I couldn't really... It's just synonyms of the words that were previously stated, that's all, because I'm a little bit incompetent. But either way, it looks like our time here has expired. I wanted to go out and go do something that you enjoy. There's only a little bit of time left, Last night, there was snow that hit the ground. So you better spend as much time outside as you can. Go for a walk, go for a run, go do something that you enjoy. Go inside, play some video games. I'm getting ready to download the Modern Warfare 3 campaign so I can play that. Because this is about to be a fun weekend. No, I got work tomorrow and I don't got work Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So I'm about to play my little heart out. Get those campaign rewards so I can be ahead of the game. That's what happens when you spend like $70 on a video game. But either way, it doesn't matter. Alright? Because at the end of the day, nobody is more important than you. Then again, my name is Michael, and this has been Talking That Nonsense. The same thing that I've been preaching since episode 1. And I'll continue to preach. Be good people. Have a good day, everyone.